Hello. Wow, the rain is so strong outside, so beautiful. B'Shnei Bracha. I hope everyone is safe. Let me know if I have too much background noise from the rain, please. If you cannot hear me because of it, I'll close the door. I'm enjoying it, but I will close the door if it makes too much noise. How are you, Sophia?
Baruch Hashem, I'm fine, thank you.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Is this for Rosh Hashanah that we have a new fruit for Shechianu? For the second night?
It is, you see, Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah is considered one long day. It's called Yom HaDe'arifta, a long day. So on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, when we say Shechianu, and the candles and the kiddush and everything else, it's like, but isn't it one long day? So why are you saying Shechianu? Because see, it's the only time in Eretz Israel they have a 2-day Yom Tov.
2 days.
So it's really one long day. It's not like first day and second day, like Sukkot we have first and second, or Pesach or Shavuot. This is the only time that in Eretz Israel it's also 2 days. Why? Because it's one long day. So therefore, why do you say Shechianu the second night? And that's why they say, because there is such question, so it's good to say Shechianu and something else that you have in mind. So if you have on the table fruit to say Shechianu for, so you have kavanah and that too.
I always mix them. Each holiday we have to have a new fruit. Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay, is the rain making too much noise? Do I need to close the door?
It's fine to me.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to start. B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach. Welcome, everyone. We're going to be doing chapter 29. And the title is Developing an Abundant Mindset. What does it mean, an abundant mindset? I will ask, just like always, whoever can please turn on your video. I would appreciate it very much so I could see your smiles and your faces. And even if you're doing something else, it's okay. But at least I will see people. Okay, so what does it mean, developing an abundant mindset? You know, some people, their mind is very small. What do I mean very small? I don't mean that they're not smart. What I mean is, in Hebrew we call it dikduke amiyut. You know, a poor person has to say, should I eat this much or this much? Should I spend this much or that much? And that's okay for a poor person. If he only has $1 in his pocket and he needs to buy food for his family, So yes, we should see what would cost a little less so he could bring more food to the table. But the person that Baruch Hashem gave him, it's not good to act like a poor person. Hashem gave you plenty, act plenty. Don't waste your time calculating how to chop the dollar. Your time is worth more. If a person doesn't have, then that's the proper thing to do. But if you have plenty, act like it. Hashem gave you, behave like it. So this is having an abundant mind. That the person is large, not so small-minded, not so tiny-minded. So that could be in being stingy about food, about money. But some people are stingy about doing acts of kindness. Why do I owe them a favor? I don't owe it to them. Let me ask the rabbi if I should do the favor or not. Do the favor. Enjoy doing something good. For some people, it's hard for them to say a compliment. It's hard for them to say a thank you, as if it cost them their soul. Why do you care to say something nice and make the other one happy? That is lack of abundance in their soul, in their mind. In order to be able to have that largeness, we have to be large with ourselves. If a person, and this is something that I'm doing the chapter of the book, but I'm doing it completely outside of the book. I'm talking today differently. The more people will turn on their cameras, the better the class will come out, I promise. So, you know, Rabbi Akiva says, "Ve'ahavta lereacha kamocha ze klal gadol b'Torah." You should love your fellow Jew as much as you love yourself. That's a very big rule in the Torah. What does that mean? A big rule, when you have a rule, it means that you could learn things from it, that you could understand more things out of. When you make a rule, it's a base of a lot of deeper understanding, right? And what does he say? Ve'ahavta lereacha kamocha. You should love for your fellow Jew the same things you would love for yourself. So let's say, if I would like to have a nice house, I should wish it for my friend also. And when he gets something that I wish for myself, I should be happy for him. Even if I don't have it, if I wish it for myself, I should wish it for my fellow friend. But you know what we could learn from it? That whatever we don't wish for ourselves, there is almost no way we could wish it for somebody else. And I'll explain. Let's say I have money to buy myself a Coke, but I say, what? It's a waste of money. It's not good for you and it's a waste of money. So no, I don't wish to buy myself a Coke. So if somebody asks me, can you buy me a Coke? If my mindset is that it's a waste of money and it's not worth the money, it would be impossible for me to really do that with happiness or to wish for the other one to have it. Why? Because I don't believe in it. I don't know how to want it. And then there are people that say, Hashem, I have the money, it will make no difference. Tastes good, enjoy it. So for them, it's easy to wish it for somebody else. So this is what I'm not that I'm for Coke. For different reasons, I'm against Coke, okay? That's because I believe it's really unhealthy and is not good for you. And my father, Zichrono Livracha, was so against it because he would say, how could a person take something that he knows will damage him? So I just brought that example, but not as something that I believe that's good for you. In fact, that's my example that I cannot wish Coke for somebody else because I believe it's so horrible. So how could I wish it for somebody else, right? That's exactly a good example. If I do not wish it for myself, I can't share that wish for somebody else because I see somebody else drinking and I say, oh, what a shame he's drinking that, right? I'm not happy for them that they're drinking it unless, rarely I'm like in a mood of something and so maybe I could relate to that. But if not that I could relate to that, I wouldn't be able to wish it for someone else or to be happy for someone else when they have a Coke. I would wish for them to have water instead. So here, okay, let's say I have certain beliefs, okay? But in other things in life, where we wish a good life, good health, things that we all understand that are good for someone else. Only if a person knows how to want it for himself, then he could want it for somebody else. If you don't know how to want it for yourself, you're not going to be able to wish it for somebody else. And you might ask me that it's not necessarily so, because let's say you get to a certain age where you say, you know what, I had plenty, I enjoyed, now you go and enjoy, I don't need it. That's different because I feel satisfied and therefore I don't mind and I had it already. But the person that believes that something is not necessary, it's very hard for him to wish it for somebody else. So I want to use that example to what we're going to learn tonight, okay? So what is the abundance mindset? In order to be large in our soul and mind, to wish good for others, we need to know how to wish good for ourselves. We need not to be stingy on ourselves. We need not to be too, how do you say, a person who constantly tells himself, you're no good, you're no good. I forgot the word. A person who is always feeling guilty about everything. So then we do that to our children, we do that to other people, we look at their bad things. Is it good or is it not good? To always look back and say, why did I do this? Why did I do that? It's good this little. And then once we realize it was a mistake, say, oh, I'm so happy I realized it was a mistake. From now on, I will try not to do it. And khalas, done. Because if we're going to keep hurting ourselves, hating ourselves for what we did wrong, we're not going to be able to love ourselves and start doing good. We're going to stick to the negative, and we don't want to be there. We want to move on to the good. So what is the best way to do that? The best way to do it is by realizing that we are super special. Chazal tell us, Chayav kol adam lomar, every person is obligated to say every single day, Bishvili nivra ha'olam. The world was created just for me. Can you believe that? You would think that person is so selfish. Imagine a person that says, the whole world was created just for me. And that's what the Chazal tell us. Why? Imagine the whole China is for me. So whenever I feel like having something, I will be able to go to the store and buy it. The entire Amazon was created just for me. So I will be able to order things and get them to my doorstep the next day, free shipping. Everything was created, just everyone that makes all the cars in the world, even the most expensive ones, just for me. So I would be able to drive my car, because if there wouldn't be all those cars, my car wouldn't be either. Everything is created just for me. Why is it good? Isn't that arrogance? Isn't that being selfish? And the answer is no, it is not. The fact that it's just for me, it doesn't mean that it's not just for you also. It's just for me, and it's just for you, and it's just for so-and-so as well. But it's just for me because obviously Hashem wants me here. And I couldn't be here without the sun. And I couldn't be here without the moon. And I couldn't be here without water, and without air, and without the earth, and without the universe. And Hashem wants me to be here. So he had to create everything for me to be able to be here. Now, with that in mind, so how important am I? And how important are you? And how important is each person in this world? Hashem created the entire world for just me and for just you. And therefore, I should love myself. I should respect myself. I should know that I'm entitled for love. I'm entitled to be loved. I'm entitled to be respected. I'm entitled to have pleasures. Because Hashem created the world just for me. So I don't deserve to enjoy my life? Of course I am. If Hashem created the whole world for me, you think it's not for me to enjoy my life? Does that mean that I could go and be an animal? No, I have to enjoy my life as the person that he created. He created me a Jewish woman. So that's my place. And in that place, I should be enjoying it and using it to the full extent. It says in the Gemara that one of the Tanaim, when he would go for the Shalosh Regalim and he would see the place of the Bet HaMikdash, and it was like sardines, and there was so many people. And he would say, stand there and say a bracha, thank you, Hashem, that you created all these people to serve me. What? All these people, you don't even know them. You never spoke to them. What do you mean to serve me? The same idea. When a Chinese guy is working in a factory in China, it's so I could have shoes. So the fact that I don't know him, Hashem created him to serve me. Even if I don't buy the shoes that he made. But if there wouldn't be everything, you see now because of Corona, people are not working. So what happened? So there is less things in the stores. So there is less cars, right? The market of the cars became very expensive. Why? Because people are not working. So you see how the fact that if so-and-so in China doesn't go to work, I might not get the car for a good price. And that's what it means, that all these people, Hashem created them to serve me. But it's not just that Hashem created them to serve me. Hashem also created me to serve you. And that's what we have to keep in mind. And that's what makes us huge. Because if I could serve the entire world, then I am huge. And if the entire world was created for me, I am huge. And if I am huge, I have such a big responsibility. I have a huge responsibility if I'm so huge, correct? So it says in the Gemara, בנות ישראל נאות הן, אלא שעניות מנוולתן. The Jewish girls are all pretty, but being poor turns them ugly. And the Gemara brings an example that there was one girl that was very ugly, and nobody wanted to marry her. And her uncle also needed the shidduch. And they told him, marry your niece. You know, halachically, nowadays it's not healthy, but according to the Torah, it is a good thing for a man to marry his sister's daughter. Why? Because since the normal is that a man loves his sister, so by marrying his sister's daughter, automatically there will be shalom bayit. He won't hate his mother-in-law, he won't talk against his mother-in-law, so that's like a guaranteed shalom bayit, it's a good thing. Okay? So this man, everyone told him, go marry your niece, your sister's daughter, but his niece was very ugly. So he made a neder, he swore that he is not marrying her. Okay. So one of the rabbis, he saw this girl that nobody wanted to marry, not even her uncle. And he told his wife, take this girl and take her to the spa, take her to the beauty salon, take care of her, make her beautiful. The Rebbetzin took care of the girl, took her to the spa, took her to the beauty salon, they did laser, they did this, they did that. Yeah, that's what they did. It says that they removed hair, everything. She took care of her. And then after she was all with her new haircut and good looking, and they put her in nice clothes, they showed her to her uncle and he said, oh, this one, I didn't make a neder not to marry this one. And that's why the Chachamim said, Bnot Israel na'ot hen. You see, Jewish girls are pretty, but being poor makes them ugly. My father, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, used to say, not only aniyut in the pocket, not only being poor in the pocket. Sometimes it's the aniyut hadat, being poor in here. Sometimes people don't know. They have the money in the pocket, but they don't know how to use that money to take care of themselves, to improve their lives. So that is not an abundant mind. That is when a person is so small that he doesn't know how to use the world, the community. And I'm not saying use as being selfish and using other people. No, use your own money. Use your own time to benefit yourself, to take care of your needs. So many people have the money in their pocket and they suffer, lacking things. Why? Sometimes they don't even know how to buy something from Amazon. You can't go to the store, buy it on Amazon. You'll have it in 2 days. You could have a whole store in your house after 2 days and then return it. Why can't you get what you want? So it will cost you an extra $5 because if you would go to CVS, it is cheaper there. Who cares? You have the money. Why don't you take care of yourself? What is the money for if not to use it? What's the problem? That we think that we're not important enough, that we don't have value enough, that the money that we have has more value than us. And I use the example of money because probably it's the easiest example to use, because that's something That's an everyday thing and everyone can relate to. But in reality, that is not the only example, but this is something that sometimes it is by taking care of ourselves, by going for a walk, by going to exercise, that we think we're not deserving of it. Oh, I have to take care of my children. I have to take care of my husband. I don't have time for myself. Huh. You're just not taking care of yourself. If you decide to take care of yourself, you will. You will make the time. You're not a priority for yourself. Why? Because we don't value ourselves. And remember, we could love somebody else only as much as we love ourselves. Meaning, let's say I have a ball. In that ball, that's all that can fit. What makes the ball bigger or smaller? Myself. The more love I have for myself, that's the size of my ball. In that size of the ball, that's how much love I can fit for other people. Some people say, no, I love my children more than myself. My mother taught me there is no such thing. Even when a mother sacrifices for her children, that's because that gives her pleasure, because she feels that that's what makes her a good mother. So that's her self-satisfaction. So even when we sacrifice, let's say there is one piece of bread and the mother didn't eat anything the whole day, and she's putting the bread in her mouth, and her kid comes and says, oh, can I have that bread? And she gives it to him. It's not because she's selfless, but because if she would eat it, she would feel not being a good mother. So giving it to the child would make her feel that she's a good mother, and feeling a good mother, we need it more than food. At the end of the day, Chazal tell us, Kol ma she'adam oseh le'atzmo hu oseh. Everything a person does, he does it for his own self. There is nothing we do for other people. And that's not being selfish, that's being a human being. Now, a person, what we call selfish, what is that? So myself is myself, right? Let's say this is me. For some people, me includes my husband. So now the me became bigger because me is me and my husband. So whatever I want for me, my husband is part of me, so I want it for both of us. Some people, me includes their children too. So now that makes the me even bigger. For some people, the me includes their friends. So that makes these people even bigger. Because as much as they want the good of themselves, they want the good of their friends too. They want the good of their community. So you have people that just the way they would spend on themselves, when a community need comes, their shul, their children's school, they say, of course I want to pay for it. It's my school. So they become bigger because the school is part of them. They become bigger because their shul is part of them. Because the organization they support and take care of is part of them. So their self is not just me, but the me becomes so much bigger because they include so much more. Now, the bigger they are, the bigger they feel. A person that only thinks about himself, he feels very lonely. He's very lonely, not because others don't include him, because he doesn't include anything else with him. You hear that? That's so important to understand. He is very lonely because he does not include anyone else with him. A wife that does not include her husband with her, she feels lonely. Okay, we have a flash flood warning. A husband that doesn't include his wife with him will have complaints about his wife from today till tomorrow. Why? Because she's not part of him. He does not include her in his life. She is in his life, but he doesn't feel that she's part of him. So he doesn't feel that she's part of him. It's very interesting because many times people think nobody cares about me. Where does it really come from? From them being with themselves. If they would include more people with the me, they would not be alone. Because their family will be part of them, their community will be part of them, their friends will be part of them. But if they are on their own, then they're on their own. So the larger we become in our mind, the larger we become. And the smaller we are not. The nitty-gritty, we are not. So what makes us nitty-gritty? Our own being that we look at everything tiny. The larger we become, the larger we become. And we feel good, and we feel large. So I took this chapter to a different level than what the book has. In the book, he really spoke more about when we breathe, we could say, look, Hashem gave air to the whole world so I could have air. When the sun is shining, we could say, look, Hashem loves me so much, the sun is here for me to warm me up, to give me vitamin D, to take care of me. So the more we focus on how much good is bestowed upon us, the better we're going to feel. Okay, so I told you, I took it to a different level than what Rabbi Pliskin wrote this chapter on. He's really talking here about the more we focus on how much was given to me, is being given to me, the happier I'm going to be and the more abundant mind I'm going to be. The opposite is people who keep focusing on what they're missing. Those people are really missing out on their awareness of the abundance that is constantly within the reach. And that's the same thing about what I told you. A person that is able to help out his children's school and he doesn't, and he thinks, but I don't have enough money. So then what happens with that person? He's missing out on being large. He's missing out on being the person who is supporting. Some might feel that they really lack things. This could be partially true, but when they master an abundance mindset and are deeply grateful for all what they do have, they will think, feel, and speak in ways that are consistent with abundance awareness. You know, it's funny how you could be in a place and let's say someone asks for a donation and he says, can everyone please give me $1? And you will have people that make $10 an hour and they will give $1. And then you have very wealthy people that they will think, no, I don't have to give. Why? Because they don't have the abundance mindset. Sometimes the person who hardly has anything, he feels like a rich man. And he says, oh, they need $1 from me? Of course I could give $1. If I give $1, I'll still be the same person. And the rich person, he cannot even relate to the idea of giving $1. Can't relate to it. Why? Because he doesn't have that mindset of being a giver. He doesn't have the mindset of feeling, I'm so blessed. Look how much I have. I'm so blessed. So let me be a blesser as well, be a giver. But the poor man who feels blessed, it's easier for him to be a giver than the one who has so much. Why? Because of the mindset. The mindset of, I get so much, I can give to. A person who doesn't realize what he gets and doesn't appreciate how much he has and how many benefits he gets, he doesn't count his blessings. Some people are afraid that if they will count their blessings, there will be Ain Hara on it. So instead, they rather live their entire life with their own self-inflicted Ain Hara than to enjoy life, because maybe chas v'chalila, I'm going to lose money if I think I'm good. So let me have a whole life of self-inflicted Ain Hara. So chas v'chalila, I will never think that someone made Ain Hara on me. But it's not like that. It's not like that. What is the person afraid of Ain Hara afraid of? That he won't be able to enjoy life? He's not enjoying it anyway. So what's the difference? What's the difference? He can't enjoy life anyways. So what's the point? The theme of abundance is repeated in the Birkat Hamazon. We say, we have the bracha of Atov Hamitiv that we say, thank you to Hashem for giving us the land, thank you Hashem, al eretz chemda tova uchava, brit, v'torah, chaim, umazon. Thank you for this, thank you for this, thank you for that. Why? Because we have to learn to appreciate. We have to learn to appreciate, and not just to appreciate, but to really understand that we have so much that's coming to us. And when we realize that, and with that, together with that, we have to say, I have so much coming to me, and it was all created for me. All that Hashem created just for me. And therefore I'm huge. And because I'm huge, I can do huge things too. I can do so much. Even giving a smile to someone else can save them. There is stories of people that decided to commit suicide. And then somehow someone gave them a smile and a good word, and because of that, they changed their mind. We don't know how much we could affect someone else by just being good to them. And you know what's interesting? In psychology, they say that, let's say when someone gives you a hug, it does something good for you. But seeing act of love, even if you see two people hugging each other, it does something good to your brain. Even if they're not hugging you, But you see two children playing nicely, hugging each other. That will make good in your brain. It will do something good. I'm sure you could relate to what I'm saying. So you see how acts of being large, of being good, of being a giver, of being loving, brings good to other people. And of course, it brings good to ourselves. So to conclude, let's review what we learned today. חייב אדם לומר בכל יום בשבילי נברא העולם. Every day a person must say the world was created just for me. Therefore, I'm important. Hashem wants me here. Hashem loves me. And he created so much for me. So much is done just for me to make my life the way it should be. And therefore, I should be so happy with myself. I should feel so good about myself. I'm so valuable. I'm so precious. And when you have good feelings for yourself, then you could pass them on to other people. When people have negative feelings about themselves, it's very hard for them to smile at someone else. But when we have good feelings for ourselves, then we pass them to others and we bring so much good to the world. Okay, so from now on, everything we're going to see, every time you shop Amazon, you're going to say, thank you, Hashem. You made all this internet and Amazon and UPS and FedEx. It's all just for me. So I will be able to have this delivered to my house. Wow, I'm like a king. Imagine. And therefore, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu was so great to me and loves me so much, I should be appreciated and I should be good to others and share that goodness with others as well. HaKadosh Baruch Hu help us. Then we're better wives and better mothers and a better Jew. And I see my internet connection is not good, I guess, because of the rain. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu help us all to become stronger and shine. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we should all have a Ktiva v'chatima tova and a good year. And we should be able to stand for the prayers on Rosh Hashanah and say, Ribono shel Olam, thank you for all the good things. Continue giving me good things so I will be able to use them for good things and become better and better every day. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for coming.
So much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Hannah, for
Thank you so much.
sponsoring the class. Thank you, Sophia. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Tova. Good night.